All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this special panel that we have for you today. I have a special guest with me here, Laura. I have got Inosanto, and I also have Robert Trujillo. So we will be talking about a very special event, and this one is called Social Justice Holiday Book Fair. So to begin with, can we introduce ourselves? I'm going to start with you, Laura.
Yeah, I'm Laura Atkins, and I am an author, editor, teacher, passionate person about children's books.
And Robert?
My name is Robert. I'm a children's book illustrator, author, and one of the organizers of the Kids Book Fair.
And Ino?
I'm Inosanto Nagara, and I am also a children's book author and illustrator and graphic designer and organizer of the book fair.
Awesome. It's great. It's great. I really feel great having being with all of you here. But we're going to start with the first one too is how did this project come about, Laura?
Yeah, now it feels like so long ago. This is our fourth fair, so someone else has to do the math for what year we actually started. But I always think it's great just bringing people together. And the Bay Area, we have such amazing authors, illustrators, and indie publishers in particular. So I think I reached out to Ino and was like, hey, what do you think about this idea, the Social Justice Book Fair? And Ino was like, yeah, that's great. And so then we reached out, and Rob, and then Maya Gonzalez, Matthew Smith, and Janine Macbeth are the other members of the team. And we pulled it together. Chapter 510, the first year, hosted us, and we had crazy, crazy crowds coming. It was insane and really super fun. And that's how things got started.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So, like you've been doing it for 4 years now. This is the fourth installment. What does it mean to you, to each one of you, really? And let me start with Robert, and then we'll look back around. So, Robert, what does this mean to you?
For me, I think it means like putting my actions where my mouth is, because often I'll be, talking about like the importance of reading or literacy or some of the issues that a lot of the authors talk about. And it's really putting it into action, because there's so many parents that come to all of us, and teachers as well, that saying, where can I get this book? And it's just one place where you're not going to get all of the books, but a good amount of books that they might not normally get. So it's just really awesome to not only provide a place for people to come and shop and get really cool books, but to give underrepresented voices or some indie authors who may not get to shine the chance to really get in front of people. So that's what is really important to me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's, what Robert said, but all of that. Plus also for me, I feel like there's a piece of it that's about the community that we have here of children's book authors and illustrators in the Bay Area. We're really lucky that we have a lot of people who are doing this kind of work, and instead of thinking of it as like, oh, everybody's competing to try to sell their books, this is a way that we can all come together and boost each other's work, because there's enough room for all of us here, and also to get to know each other and to learn from each other and do best practices around this stuff. So I think it's, from the outside, there's the community of people who want to buy these kind of books, and then on the author and illustrator side, there's the chance for us to all kind of get together and exchange.
Yeah, no, awesome. And, Laura, coming back to you too, I know that, you're the founding of this, like, giving birth to such a great project, which has been now 4 years running. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's similar to Rob and Ino. I think a lot of the best books that are being created are actually being created by indie publishers. And it's a real kind of grassroots way of publishing from within the community and for community. And it's so different from how a lot of traditional publishing works. And one of the biggest challenges is for people to have a platform and for other people to be able to find out about their books. People don't have the budgets, and they also don't have the recognition, bookstores or whatever, TV shows, everybody, they know to go to the big publishers. And so I think this felt like, really, like Rob was saying, kind of walking the talk. Like, if we're really going to be community and we're going to try to envision the sort of world we want to live in, then let's create it. Let's make it together. And, it happened. It was completely just collaborative, like, let's do it kind of thing. And then working with everybody on the team is so awesome. It's just a treat to get to do that too.
Yeah, no, I totally, I can, concur with you on that. I've just been, with you only a few days, and I honestly, like, I feel that energy. It's so great. But, like, how did you settle on social justice? What is social justice to somebody out there who might not know? And what type of books will people expect to find at this fair? Robert, do you want to start with that one?
Sure. So I think that social justice is the main draw. It's kind of like the baseline to get people in. So no matter who you are, what you do, having some type of books that talk about some of the issues of the time, civil rights, human rights, a bunch of those issues, and I'm sure other folks can talk to it as well, are really important, not just in this time, but I think for the long haul to kind of change um, the culture of like what people understand, what they believe, what they're knowledgeable, what they're aware about. And then another big thing is to try and have Black, Indigenous, people of color authors as well to be present, and queer people who run the spectrum of the LGBTQ to be there as well, so that again people can find this broad array of bookmakers that are not normally publicized, or they're starting to get more shine, but they still need a lot more.
Right. Well, that's awesome. All those there's such important topics, and so, sometimes somebody could say heavy. How do you present it? What age range are we looking at for this fair? Do you want to kick on that?
Sure. I mean, for the fair, it's. I mean, this is children's books, but it goes all the way from board books all the way to, probably YA. Young adults are probably represented. I don't remember who what the highest age range, but it's it's the broad range of children's books in general. And I think in terms of social justice children's books, the idea is that there's a number of ways you can look at it. There's the issue of representation. So just by having the voices of what we call the own voices of the authors and illustrators, or the ones who are actually creators of the books, in and of itself is a social justice issue in the children's book industry. But then there's also the topics, and the topics sometimes are about actual activism and mobilization, what you think of as activism, but a lot of the time it's also about more subtle things. It's about the many different ways that we engage in the world, and the way that we can talk with our kids about how maybe bad things do happen. Maybe we do have things that are not perfect in our world, but the question is, what do you do about it, and how can you engage as a person in this world?
That's amazing. Yeah. And Laura, just coming back to you on, we mentioned the topics we're mentioning and how we're presenting it. Are there any authors or any specific books that you might want to highlight and just mention like what people can look forward to finding at the fair?
Yeah, we've got a lot of great people coming. Probably a little bit more on the picture book side, I would say. I think the book, I'll be on a panel talking about middle grade books probably later in the day, but like Angela Dalton is going to be reading from her picture book, If You Look Up to the Sky. That's a beautiful book with a girl connecting to her grandmother through looking at the night sky. We've got, let's see, who else is going to be there?
Don't leave anybody out. So
I know it's kind of, yeah, exactly. We're updating the schedule as we go, and so we'll be posting a list on the Facebook page, and we'll let people know there will be hour blocks when you can know who you get to see. I think we'll have a range of activities. People will be reading from books. I think we're going to have a meditation exercise, possibly a drawing opportunity. So there should be lots of fun things for kids and parents to come along and take part in. It's really celebratory.
Yeah, well, that sounds amazing, and you just really just took the next question out of my mouth, because that's what I was going to ask next. What else do we have at this fair? Is it just books? Like what can people expect? And maybe Laura, I know you've touched a little bit on it, but Robert, do you want to share a little bit more about that? What are the activities? What is there?
Well, I think one of the biggest things for families and kids and all types of people is to just get to know some of these folks who make the books, like the people behind them. So just being able to see them and like hear them talk, whether they're reading or just, providing a link to their work. But yeah, like Laura said, there's going to be people reading. There's already some young people that want to do a song as well. So it's not the same as doing it in person, but we're trying to do the best that we can to make it something like cool to watch.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and I'm excited, just looking forward to those things. And I know, as somebody that teaches second grade, I know the kids will be coming in looking forward to meeting their inspirations, these people they've read about or whose books they've read. So just like as a way to close this event, 4 years, it's special. This year is different. How is it different for you, and what does that mean to you, bringing that difference in this year and also just knowing that, like you're still carrying on over these 4 years. Yeah. Do you want to start on that?
Sure. I mean, I think one of the things that has made this event so fun over the past few years is the fact that we get a physical space and we get all the authors together in one place, and we have activities for children, we have activities for adults, we have readings, we have all this stuff. And this year, because of the pandemic, obviously we can't do that, and so we wanted to figure out what could we do that would to some degree touch on that experience, which is why we're doing the virtual program on the day of. The website will be up, and the books can always be bought at any time, and you can obviously look up these authors on your own as well, but we're trying to put it all in one place and try to create that experience. And we're so happy to have you on here, Mr. Limata, because I think that it'll be so much more fun to be able to really bring the experience that you have engaging children online. And this is really a program for kids, so I want people to bring their kids to this event. The other side of it is, of course, a lot of these indie authors, it would be great if people would purchase their books. And this year, there's a lot of purchasing online, and there are a few what I call pandemic profiteers who are making a lot of money off of this pandemic. And so as much as possible, rather than giving your money to Jeff Bezos, it'd be great if you could give your money directly to the creators of these books that are so important.
Absolutely. No, thank you. And then Laura, what seeing your child transition into this new age, what does that mean for you?
Oh, wow. Boy, there's been a lot of transitioning over here with my kid. Yeah. I mean, it really shows me how young people take in information, engage with the world in different ways as they age. And yeah, connecting to the fair. Actually, Cassie's come to the fair before. They don't always like coming to the fair. Sometimes it's like, oh, here's mom doing their thing again. But just that sense of community too. It feels like to get that sense of intergenerational connection and storytelling. I'm very proud, I guess, and kind of honored to get to be part of creating this space and community for my kid and for all the kids. We all need it.
Yeah, awesome. No, thank you. And then Robert, just the same question as well. What, over the 3 years and then this special year that we're with, how is it for you?
Well, I think, I mean, it's special just that we're still able to pull it off, because I mean, so many things come and go, and it's really hard to maintain it. And so we're not trying to, be extravagant and crazy, but just to make something happen. And that I think people count on it. That it's starting to be a consistent thing where people are like asking us individually, is that thing about to happen again this year? So that's really special, just to be able to do it, and we're like a little family, so it's good to like just chop it up and talk to each other. And I think, as far as like the kids growing, like it's been really great to have, like, said board books for little babies and things that go all the way up to high school for some of the older kids. And while the older kids may not want to be there physically, mine included, just bringing it home and having it in the house so they can see it and, know that it exists or that it's there is really important. But what I wanted to ask you, Peter, also for folks that are just meeting you and just learning about you, tell us about yourself and how you started reading all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm Peter Limata, and I teach second grade at Emerson Elementary in Auckland Unified. And how Storytime came about really was just, it was how I had two thoughts. One was how to continue, like exposing children to books, and then also realizing the fact that there were a lot of students that do not have access to books in a way that most might. And this is, you hear when kids come back to school, how much they talk about, oh, what did you do this weekend? Did they go to the library? Did they talk about anything they read or anything like that? And so you start to see those trends. And so I was thinking, I was like, this is such a great time that we have in the class where we have discussions, we have conversations. And so it was like, how can we make this, how can we continue this? And talking with Lydia, who here back here, we talked about it and thought, it's like, well, this might be something that could be done. And yeah, that very, I think first Tuesday after shelter in place, it all started at that point. And yeah, and it's just the love, like you're saying, you see the need that was there. from the kids, and great support, of course, from people like yourselves. It's just been amazing. And yeah, and that's how it's come about and grown. And I think the other thing that I've appreciated is just being a part of events like this one. This is just great. And we're dedicating a whole week this week on Storytime, where we're going to be reading, dedicating it to the social justice fair for kids this week. So everything will be talked about there, information, everything that people need to know. We will try and share as much as we get from you. But yeah.
Thank you
so much for hosting, Peter, because
no, absolutely,
we've been hosted by other cool spaces that are built around children's literature and writing and activities, and trying to figure out how to replicate that online. Until we came across you, it was like, I don't know how it's going to feel right, but suddenly it feels great.
Good. No, no, it feels great. I love it. I'm glad we're doing this. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and get excited. The annual Social Justice Children's Book Holiday Fair is on. It's coming. It's on this Saturday, the 12th. Please do join us. Look out for the schedule. And of course, check out the links below this video to see where you can get all the information about it and what will be there. In case there's something that we haven't mentioned here, it is coming. It'll be exciting. Get involved and find out ways in which you can be a part of this great event. Thank you so much for joining in, and we'll see you at the book fair.